I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
And we are live here at DraftKings at Casino Queen. Clemson John, Damian joining us. And David will be stepping here in just a second. On this Thursday, August the 10th, we're getting a little closer, Damian. Getting a little closer.
First week of NFL preseason.
Yep. Had our first Hall of Fame game last week.
Game
cool
went
to see
over
them.
like I told you it would.
Yeah, they got a score at the end. I thought they were going to close. They were going to cancel the game because of the lights. Did you see that?
Yeah, the game went over early in the fourth quarter.
No, it was under when they had the lights cut off.
No, that was at the end of the third quarter.
I know. I thought they were going to cancel the game, though.
It went over early in the fourth quarter. Wasn't even a sweat.
Yeah, but when the lights were off,
there would have been no bet then.
Yeah, it would have been under.
For NFL, no, it would have been a no bet because the game has to go the full 60 minutes for the total to be in effect. Yeah. If the game ends before 60 minutes, there is no total. The game has to go 55 minutes for the side to be in effect.
Yeah, us under bettors, we needed the lights to turn off and the game to get canceled. Well, we knew we were in bad shape on the under.
This over better was very happy about that.
So, yep.
I did play again. I did play the over in the Houston New England game tonight. Total's a little bit higher, but everything I'm reading, it looks like both teams are going to start their starting offenses and going to play a little bit in this game. And New England tends to have higher scoring preseason games than people realize. So, and obviously they need to get work with that offense. So I don't expect like Ramondre Stevenson to play very much, but I expect the receivers and for both teams to play a lot. Houston's got a lot of rookies that are going to get a lot of action in this game.
Yep. Derek Stingley, Will Anderson, C.J. Stroud.
John Mechie, the kid from Alabama.
Yep.
He would have been a top 10 pick in the NFL draft without his cancer diagnosis, and he's a legitimate stud. He's basically what he would have basically been what Jameson Williams was supposed to be for Detroit. So I'm rooting for the kid. Hopefully things work out well for him. He was an excellent player. He's had it tough, and he's battled and persevered. And I'm sure he's looking forward to playing in this game tonight.
Yeah, he had a great career at Alabama for sure. Had a guy named Bryce Young throwing him the ball. That probably helps a little bit, I would imagine.
Are you taking chess lessons while we're doing this?
No, What are you doing? I meant to pause it. It didn't pause.
Oops,
but yeah,
whoa, hiccups.
John Mechie, 2,000 yards in his career at Alabama. So 1,100 yards last year, 96 catches. So yeah, he's should be a everyday player in the NFL for sure.
So we're going to talk a little NFL with Greg Damon from KMOX. Is going to be joining us at about 6:15, so about 10 minutes. It's going to be fun. We haven't had Greg on for a long time.
I wouldn't be stunned if John Mechie ended up being the number one receiver from that Houston offense. I know right now Nico Collins looks like he's probably the number one. Evidently he's had a really nice camp. He had a nice close to the last season. But C.J. Stroud's a rookie. I'm guessing he's been throwing a lot to the rookies in this, and I wouldn't be surprised if you might want to take a late round flyer in your fantasy drafts on this on Mechie if you're in a deep league. Like I happen to be in one very, very deep league, and he's definitely somebody I will be looking to maybe grab toward the end of my draft. So I'm in a league with 12 teams.
League.
The 12-team league where you start 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, and 4 receivers. So it's one the name players go quickly. You're looking at throwing some darts on some guys, and he will be a dart, and he'll be one of those guys that's way under the radar for a lot of people, and and I'm throwing it out that he won't be under my radar.
You always get those rookies that kind of surprise people, and then come week 4, week 5, they're starting to add them onto rosters, and nobody drafted them, For sure. A lot of good rookies, though. Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Well, I don't know if Anthony Richardson has any value or not.
Anthony Richardson will be a much better fantasy quarterback than he will be a real life quarterback in season 1.
Yeah.
The people don't, a lot of people just don't realize that quarterbacks that run like he does are incredibly valuable. He just, he's just not going to be the, he's not going to turn the needle as far as you're not going to look at him and like, oh, he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He could very legitimately, realistically be a top 10 quarterback fantasy wise if he starts week 1, because his rushing upside is tremendous. He's basically, he could basically be what Lamar Jackson is for Baltimore.
Yeah.
And
Jackson Smith and Njigba too out in Seattle. A little rookie surprise maybe there. We might see him tonight.
Oh, you'll see him tonight. Just remember, though, they also, he also has Lockett and Metcalf ahead of him on the pecking order at receiver.
Yep.
But he's a legitimate wide receiver. Ohio State was loaded last year with him and Harris wide out.
And Baltimore getting some receiver help with the rookie Zay Flowers.
I have a sneaking suspicion he'll be the number 1 receiver in Baltimore.
Yeah. I've seen him play a lot with Boston College, playing Clemson all the time.
Even over, I'm not even looking at Odell Beckham in any fantasy purposes, in any fantasy drafts at all. I believe Beckham's basically done. But Flowers and Bateman, like I said, you remember, it's just one of those things that I'm not a big fan of Lamar Jackson throwing outside. He's great throwing inside to the tight end. Those outs, where the tight ends are really good. He's not great throwing the deep ball. He never has been. Zay Flowers is a demon at wide receiver. He's very, very good, very effective. I don't necessarily like Lamar Jackson throwing him the football though. So, but he could be all right.
Yeah, a lot of people share that sentiment.
Another guy that could, Jordan Addison in Minnesota. Minnesota they let Thielen go. Not, KJ Osborne's okay at receiver. Addison's got some game. Minnesota's going to throw the football a lot. They threw the football a lot last year. I don't think Minnesota's going to be very good. So they're going to throw the football even more. They don't have much on defense. Minnesota's going to be in some high-scoring shootouts of games.
Yeah, Jordan Addison was had that controversial transfer from Pitt to USC. Where
that was bait. Yeah,
the Pitt coaches weren't too happy about it, accused him of tampering and all this stuff. And
it was a money grab, but that's what you got now with the NIL.
Yeah,
that's all it is a money grab.
Yeah,
and he got paid,
and it's NFL free agency on the collegiate level.
That's basically what it is. I really hope that college does something to fix this to some sort of degree, where it's not just a free for all every year like it's basically becoming. Like I said, I did some research for on the ACC coming into this year. I told you I'd do some stuff for college football. I looked hard and heavy at the ACC this week as far as teams that may be better, to kind of give a little bit of background on any team in the ACC. And some of these teams were just absolutely crushed with, in the portal. Florida State actually lost quite a few good players, so they gained quite a few good players. Boston College lost a lot. Virginia lost a lot. Now, these were 2 really bad teams anyway, but they lost most of their best players to other schools. Like, Pitt's got Boston College's quarterback now, Jurkovec. He's back reunited with his old offensive coordinator from BC.
Yeah, Jurkovec just went from Notre Dame to Boston College, and then from Boston College to Pitt.
Now he's at Pitt for his final year of eligibility.
He's got to be a final year. Yeah, I was about to say. The guy's been there forever.
Yeah, it's his final year of eligibility. He's reunited with his offensive coordinator when BC was actually pretty decent in 2019 and 20. But, and some of the things, Clemson, by the way, has their odds to win the conference. You remember I bet them when they were plus 170. I looked it up earlier today. It's plus 130.
Yeah.
Now, Florida State has also come down to plus 140, but everybody else is sky high in that conference. And from the research I did on it, I really kind of would tend to agree with it. I really believe that's pretty much a two-team conference race between Clemson and Florida State. I think there's a couple teams that, if things broke right, could potentially have a chance. North Carolina has very elite offensive playmakers. They have nobody left from their secondary. Their top 7 defensive backs from last year are either graduated or transferred. And they didn't bring in much to replace them. They got a couple of really low-level transfers, but it's better than what they had. And they weren't able to recruit very well either, because he's bringing in so many transfers that North Carolina's high school recruiting's really suffered. But North Carolina offensively will be fun to watch.
Yeah, Drake May there. I mean, Drake May's going to add some throwing the ball excitement in Chapel Hill. That's for sure.
I'm guessing he comes out after the year and he's a top 10 pick.
Yeah, I mean, everything says that he will be.
You know, he's good, and he's got some playmakers. North Carolina will be a fun team to watch because they're going to score and they're not going to stop you.
Oh, Mac Brown's about 87 years old, but he's still kicking, still going strong in Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
Oh, Mac Brown. So
yeah, but yeah, you know,
it's a two-team race, though. You're right.
Yeah, the Virginia schools are not very good. Excuse me. Duke
Georgia
actually,
Tech's awful.
Georgia Tech's not good. Duke actually returns quite a bit from last year's team, but last year's schedule was very, very friendly for them. You know, and you know, this year they play a lot of the tougher teams that they avoided last year, and they won 9 games last year, but they were kind of a fraudulent 9-win team. NC State, they got a new quarterback. Guy transferred into NC State. Brennan Armstrong. He transferred in. NC State, they'll probably be with Pitt, would be my guess, would be as far as maybe the 3rd best team in the ACC. You know, Syracuse isn't very good. You know.
Yeah, Syracuse does bring their quarterback back, Schroeder. He always gives Clemson fits a little bit, but the rest of the team's pretty bare.
Yeah. Well, Syracuse generally plays much better in the dome than they do when they have to go outdoors, and that they actually had a little bit of talent last year that graduated. If I'm remembering right, I believe Syracuse got Purdue's old quarterback to come in and transfer there to give. You know, I think it's the two. They're still in a competition between the two of them as far as who's going to be the starter. But you know, like I said, the ACC is a two team, and Florida State, man for man, is more talented than Clemson. But talent doesn't always win on the field, and to be honest, I'm not sure how good a coach Mike Norvell is. I have a whole lot more trust in Dabo Swinney to be able to get his team ready. And like I said, Clemson's schedule is completely more favorable than Florida State's.
Yep. All the big ones at home.
All the big ones at home.
All the big ones in the Valley, that's for sure.
And you know, like I said, even when I was doing some research, there's a lot of people that are saying that, you know, Clemson's the one team in the ACC you might want to bet on. They're the one team that could go undefeated and get to the college football playoff in the ACC. So,
16-1, 18-1 right now for the big one.
So
win the Natty, 16-1, 18-1.
Well, like I said, I'm telling you right now, they will get blown out when they get into the semifinals if they get there. But very likely they're going to get there. To me, Clemson could be like what Notre Dame was a few years ago when Notre Dame was a fraud and went 11-0 and played nobody all year and then got their asses kicked when they got into the semifinals by Clemson, I believe, actually. I think it was like 30-3 or something.
30-3.
Yeah.
Remember what the next game was?
Yeah. Well, I think Clemson could
44-16.
I think Clemson could be Notre Dame of that year. Clemson could very well go undefeated and look a lot better on paper than they will when they actually have to play a real team in the NCAA and when it gets to the playoff. You know, I mean, USC. I said I did a little more homework on that. USC brought in like 6 or 7 really good transfers on the defensive side of the football to help them out. And USC's schedule it's not too daunting to begin the season. So if they gel defensively, USC could be pretty dangerous and a potential also threat to make the college football playoff. So I just, you might want to keep that in mind as well. Texas is extremely uber talented. They've recruited incredibly well over the last 3 or 4 years. It's a pretty much a veteran team. You don't know if Ewers is going to be the starting quarterback or it's going to be Archie Manning. I don't know who's going to. I haven't been able to read through.
Yeah,
the tea
it's going to be
leaves.
Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, I haven't. I suspect you're right. I haven't seen anything where Manning is.
Sarkisian is going to go with the veteran guy.
Yeah, evidently Ewers has been better so far. But Texas could be a legitimate threat as well as like I said, if USC, and then obviously Georgia's going to be a monster, and LSU also brought in 3 very good transfers.
We're going to join in. Greg Damon's going to join us here in just a second.
Georgia's got to bring in a new quarterback, though, Damian.
Well, so does Alabama, but Georgia.
So does Alabama. You're right.
Georgia actually has a quarterback that people actually think more highly of than what Alabama's slop at quarterback is.
Hang with us, Greg.
What's up, man?
So,
Hey, Greg, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Can you guys hear him?
yes.
All right, Greg. What do you got for us today, Greg?
Well, it's that time of the year, man. We got high school football starting soon, college football starting soon, pro football starting soon. Everybody's in training camps and trying to get tuned up for the first game of the season.
Yeah, we football. That's what we got. Football coming up.
That's right. Is there another sport?
Well, not in St. Louis.
Not in St. Louis.
Not right now. Not right now. The Cardinals are pretty rough to watch these days.
This is true. Well, the Blues are coming back, so
Yeah.
I can't say about the soccer team. I'm not a soccer fan, so I can't say yay or nay on those guys.
Yeah. Well, the Aaron Rodgers era is finally coming to an end this offseason, so he is done in Green Bay, on to the Meadowlands in New York. So the Jordan Love era kicking off in Green Bay, Damon.
Yep, Jordan Love definitely kicking off in Green Bay. Mixed reviews. Everything I see and read, and just mixed reviews about how his performance is going. Some say he's doing much better. Some say, he can't connect a pass. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he's going to be a little more mobile than Aaron Rodgers, which isn't saying a whole lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He'll be definitely more mobile than Aaron Rodgers, no doubt about it. But let's talk a little bit about Aaron Rodgers. There's a little scuttlebutt going on with Aaron Rodgers in New York, where he's kind of rubbed some people the wrong way.
No.
Yeah, and the whole Hard Knocks thing where they have going. A lot of people say it's the Aaron Rodgers show. So see what happens going on forward with that.
Yeah. Is Christian Watson ready to emerge as an elite receiver for the Cheeseheads?
He says he is, but it certainly seems like Jordan Love has more of a connection with Romeo Doubs than he does Christian Watson. Obviously, Christian Watson, very dynamic player. We'll see what he has this year, though. I think that kind of burned Aaron Rodgers the very first play of last year when Christian Watson dropped that pass right through his hands, and I think that is what set Aaron Rodgers down the downward spiral for the rest of the year. And then Christian Watson gets hurt, but we'll see what happens. They got a lot of money invested in him. He's got to invest. He's got to invest the time, and he's got to emerge as the number one receiver.
Yeah, backfield kind of looks the same on offense with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Still the same old story there, huh?
A.J. Dillon says that he is going to be more of a punisher this year, running more like Derrick Henry than he has in the past. So we'll see what happens. He certainly has the physique to do that. Hopefully his mentality will keep that up. but they need that. They need a guy who's going to bruise for 2 or 3 or 4 yards and get that first down. Aaron Jones, another dynamic player that he can run, he can catch, he can do it all. So let's just see what happens.
Yeah. Any young guys, any rookies or second-year players making noise at all? Looks like they took a defensive lineman with the first pick in the draft in the first round, but other than that,
they
you seen a young
took a
guys?
defensive lineman in the first pick of the draft. They took a tight end. No, am I wrong?
I got
I'm thinking-
Lucas Van Ness drafted 13th overall.
I believe he was a defensive
Correct.
lineman
Yeah,
from
he's
Iowa.
a defensive lineman or more of an edge rusher. So they need something like that. Obviously, Rashawn Gary, although he got cleared to play, that doesn't mean he's going to be cleared to play games. It just means that he's cleared to practice, and I think they'll be very cautious with him, much like Elton Jenkins and David Bakhtiari, as far as keeping tabs on him, how much he's going to play. They need him for the season, not necessarily the preseason.
Yeah.
But Van Ness is just a monster. They're expecting him to take some first string reps away, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Schedule's looking kind of, as far as outside of the North, you go to Atlanta the second week, go to New Orleans, go to Vegas. I don't think Atlanta, New Orleans, or Vegas are world beaters. Then
No, I don't think so either. I mean, I think it's a pretty weak division. I think they could come out 500. It really is going to depend on the play of Jordan Love. I mean, that's going to be the key.
Yeah, it's if this team is 10-7, 11-6, and making the playoffs, then Jordan Love's going to have an above-average year, I would say.
Right, and some of the pundits are picking Jordan Love to just come in and tear it up, and others are picking him to just falter within the first couple of weeks. I mean, let's face it, Green Bay is going to have a great offensive line. They always do every year. They've got really 6 caliber linemen that could play offensive line on any team. They've got a couple that fill in that does a really good job. Bakhtiari and John Runyon, they're gonna be tough, man. They're gonna be tough. Elton Jenkins and Bakhtiari on that left side. I mean, they're gonna shut down that side. So we'll see what happens. Again, I think Jordan Love's gonna have as much as protection as anybody in the league, and he's just gonna have to be able to pinpoint those passes.
Yeah. Then going to Green Bay, going to Denver. Denver's kind of a wild card. They can't do much worse than last year offensively. That was about the worst showing of offense we could see last year. Then going to the Rams in week 9 at Pittsburgh. So then the Chargers, Kansas City week 13. So you got a few tough games. I mean, at Pittsburgh's always tough, of course.
Right, and you never know what the weather's going to be at those games either.
Yeah.
Other than LA and the Chargers and the Rams.
Yeah, weather's going to start playing a factor on November the 12th when they stroll into Pittsburgh, and then got Kansas City December 3rd. That's another. You never know about the weather. At New York, which the Giants are. A lot of people saying they're overrated. They played above their ceiling last year, so
I'm pretty sure I said that.
yeah, Damien is all over the under on the Giants season total.
I bet the Giants under the moment it came out. It dropped a full game since I bet it. And now the guy from NBC who's on the national broadcast, it's like he actually heard the whole spiel I had on why the Giants are not going to be a good team, because he just basically posted the exact same thing I wrote. I said, and he wrote it word for word for everybody to read. He talked about their schedule, how brutal their schedule was, and how they were fortunate and overachieved at all the metrics last year, which is exactly what I said 3 months ago. So the Giants are not good. They won't be good. Bet the under. I got it 8.5. It's now 7.5. It's still under juice.
Yeah, Giants with the same total as the Packers. Packers sitting at 7.5. 7.5.
Well,
And that's
let's
about
let's talk
where it
about the
should
real
be.
team. I mean, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott having a 2-interception practice yesterday, and then having some issues with some of the other people on the team. What are the odds for the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl? I mean, obviously every Cowboy fan thinks they're going to the Super Bowl every year.
Yeah. Well, their
But
season
what's
totals
the
at
odds of that
9.5,
happening?
and it's listed at 10 at one spot.
Did you hear that, Greg?
So 9.5
I did not.
and 10 is the season total.
Yeah, season totals 9.5 wins.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I'll look up the odds to win the Super Bowl. What do you think it would be, Damien?
I got to be at
I
least
would-
30, 40 to 1.
No,
Nah.
I'd guess 20, 24 to
I'm
1,
gue-
25 to
I'm
1 would be
guessing
Dallas.
over 30.
15 to 1.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought that was good. I mean, they're not a
That's
terrible
Well, that's
team.
as of December 31st.
Oh, yeah. Let me
So
look here.
It's
Hold on a
got to
second.
be updated from that.
Let me look. It might be 24 then. 2024. Said it. Let's see here.
Let's see what we got.
Uh,
I know how much you love
Oh,
the
it
Cowboys.
does say
Greg.
50. It still says 15.
Well,
to
anytime
1.
I can cowboy bash, David, you know I'm all about it.
July
Yeah, I
the
know.
7th.
I know. I know how much you.
was
I know what your favorite team is, and I
Cowboys.
know what your least favorite team is. How about some team or players in between, Greg? Who are you looking for to have a big year?
Yeah.
Well, I can say this. So one of my players I kind of pick on, Russell Wilson from the Broncos. I've never really considered him an elite quarterback. Some people do. I don't think that he is an elite quarterback. I think he's a mediocre quarterback, much like Dak Prescott. I think they're interchangeable pieces. I think he'll probably have a better year than he had last year. I mean, obviously the coaching change is going to help him tremendously. But I'm just curious, being the tail end of his career, is he going to be trying to be an elite quarterback? I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I am on the Russell Wilson bandwagon. They tremendously they got the 2 best offensive linemen in free agency to go to Denver. They also
Yeah, exactly.
they also got their best offensive lineman from last year who was hurt in week 4. He's back. So their offensive line's tremendously upgraded. Their running backs, evidently he's going to play in the preseason. Javonte Williams, he's back. Judy and Sutton are very good wideouts. Now they did lose their 3 and 4 receivers already for the season. The injury and I guess KJ Hamler has a issue and he basically retired and Denver waived him. So the depth for Denver is going to be tested. But they drafted I believe they drafted Mims in the 3rd round out of Baylor. He's lightning in a bottle potentially for Denver. I never liked either of Denver's last 2 coaches. I thought were completely inept. And Sean Payton is a tremendous upgrade from either one. Denver's got the best defense in that division already. So
Well, I think I agree with you 100% on the line for the Broncos. They made some great picks. They've got one of the best offensive lines. But again, I'll go back to Jordan Love, not comparing Russell Wilson to Jordan Love, but it depends on how much he's going to step up. Is he going to try to prove that he's an elite quarterback, or is he just going to be a mediocre guy like he was last year?
no, he wasn't even mediocre last year. I'll give you that. He was brutal.
Yeah,
He was brutal.
He
Was
was
ugly.
brutal, but I said a lot of that was his offensive line gave him. They actually were the worst offensive line in the NFL in pass protection last year.
Right.
So he never
Let's
had
talk
a chance.
about what do you
Never had a
think
chance.
now about Jimmy G in Vegas?
I like it.
I believe
like it.
I will. I'll tell you. I've said all along. I believe the Raiders should tank for Caleb Williams.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I believe the Raiders should tank for Caleb Williams. I think they should trade away Devontae Adams. I think they should trade away Josh Jacobs. They still have all the support from the fans in the world out there. You can get. I mean, Caleb Williams is what Andrew Luck was 10 years ago. He is clearly the number 1 player in college football. Clearly the number 1 potential NFL draft pick. You get him and you set your. You suck for the year. And then you're set at quarterback for the next 15. That's what I would do if I was the Raiders are not good anyway. They're nowhere near what the Chiefs are. They're nowhere near what the Chargers are. I don't think they're anything close to even what Denver is at this point, even with Jimmy G. I'm not going to lie to you. I was actually kind of surprised at the Raiders that Jimmy G passed the physical and the Raiders ended up paying him. because Devontae Adams is already a malcontent. He already wants out.
Right.
So
That was my next point. So
yeah. So if I'm the if I'm the Raiders, I would punt the year. You got all the fan support in Vegas anyway. They're not going to turn on you. They'll know what you're doing.
Well, do you think Jimmy G is an upgrade over Derek Carr?
Yes. I do. Assuming he's healthy, yes. I was never really a Derek Carr. I mean, he's down in New Orleans. He's better than what New Orleans had last year too. But I'm not a big believer in Derek Carr. Never have been.
I feel exactly right. Now I'll throw this little. This has been battered around in a bunch of forums and stuff. Aaron Rodgers took a pay cut with the Jets, and the amount of pay cut that he took was the same as the contract for Davante Adams.
Well, I know Davante Adams would like to go to the Jets. I know that's one place where he's trying to get himself to go to, and I don't believe the Jets owe anything further for Aaron Rodgers as far as draft capital, unless it's a conditional pick.
It depends if he plays 65% of the snaps, and then they get a conditional pick.
Was it like a third round
depending
pick?
on his performance after 65%?
Yeah, I think it was a conditional third round pick or something.
It'll be a first round pick.
Oh, if he gets 65%, it's another first round pick?
Correct.
Well, I was not aware of that. It was that much of that it was that. So, well, yeah, it's going to be a little tougher for the Jets to really trade any. I mean, the Jets would have to part with actually a really good player in order to get Adams as well.
Well, they're definitely in the win now mode right now. I mean, they're thinking between this year and next year, they want to win the Super Bowl, and then if that happens, I mean, then they could just break the pieces away like most Super Bowl teams do, and
The Rams
and start rebuilding.
like the Rams did. Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Jets season win total sitting at 9.5.
Wow.
Well,
9.5.
I will tell you
Big
from
number,
what I've been reading and everything on the Jets is evidently their offensive line is dreadful right now, and they cannot. Now, granted, the Jets have a very good defense, but they can't protect Aaron Rodgers in these practices. And they ran a scrimmage with, I believe it was Carolina the other day, and they went 3 and out in a 2-minute drill because they couldn't give Rodgers any time to throw the football on any of the 3 plays that they ran against the Panthers. So, I mean, the Jets need to figure out some way to protect Aaron Rodgers a little bit better because he's already got a stud in Garrett Wilson, and so.
Nope, I agree. I agree with you. I think of Aaron Rodgers and the whole debacle with him and the Packers management and all this stuff. I mean, I think he looks revived. I think he could have a really good season, or I think he could have a really bad season. But it will come down to the blocking for him. He's used to having all sorts of time with the Packers. Is he going to have any kind of time with the Jets?
Yeah. Let me flip the coin on the other side. Worst team in the league, Damian.
I would probably say it would be the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep, their season win total is 4.5. 4.5 for the lowly Arizona Cardinals.
I think the Cardinals definitely going to have a bad season. What do you think if they start? Oh crap! I lost my train of thought now. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh yeah, there's a battle down there with Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield, I guess.
Right, Baker Mayfield. If you're going to have Baker Mayfield as your starting quarterback, what kind of season are you going to have?
Oh.
I personally think Kyle Trask will end up winning that job, but I have very little faith in Tampa Bay. Their best defensive player wants out, Devin White. He wants out.
Yeah, they're sitting at 6.5.
Yeah, the only reason why Tampa Bay is even 6.5 is because their schedule's considerably easier.
I just want to know how Baker Mayfield keeps finding himself starting in the NFL.
He walked.
Well, the Rams didn't have a quarterback last year.
No, I know, but I'm just saying he just seems to find a way to be under center at some point in the season. I don't know. I was a big Baker fan when he first came out. His first game got me all pumped up with Cleveland. Remember,
Yeah.
what was an injury to what was his tire? What was his name? That injured starter for Cleveland, and they were stuck at
Yeah.
halftime, and Baker came in and won the game in
Yeah.
dramatic fashion.
I can't
His
get
first
the
one. I
image
was a
of him
fan.
running from the cops out of my head.
Oh,
when he took off from the police and the police tackled him. You guys hadn't seen that video. That's a gem.
But by the way, Arizona is the other team I also said that should really consider tanking the season
Yeah.
then trade Kyler Murray. You would have you already have Houston's first round pick next year as well. Just get out from under Kyler Murray. I was talking to somebody not too long ago who told me that something that they've done the last 3 years of Kyler Murray's career is whenever the new version of what's that popular video game? There's a real popular shooting video game that comes out every year, a new version that comes out
Call
every
of
year.
Duty?
I don't remember, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a new version of that comes out every year during NFL season, the week that it comes out, Kyler Murray has had horrible performances each week because all he does is sit and play that video game. He does not study at all, which is why the Arizona Cardinals had that in the original contract that everybody crucified him for, and they eventually took it out. That was the reason why it was in that contract. And so whatever week Call of Duty comes out this year during the NFL season, if Kyler Murray is playing by
That's
that
funny.
time, just bet against Arizona that week.
Yeah, but who's going to want Kyler Murray? I mean, who really wants Kyler Murray? First of all, he can't see over the offensive line. So I don't know what team would want him.
Oh,
Washington, maybe?
And his contract is an albatross. That's another. Like I said, with Lamar Jackson and Daniel Jones, I thought were albatross contracts when they signed this year. And Kyler Murray's an albatross of a contract right now for the Arizona Cardinals. And I said, I mean, you're right. You're not going to get much for Kyler Murray. I'm struggling to think of a team that might.
Yeah, maybe they should just buy him out.
Yeah, I mean, they've already paid the big signing bonus. I mean, they're
Right.
I mean, they're
well,
gonna have,
hey,
they're
don't
gonna have to
forget,
eat that
Carson
dead
Wentz
money.
is available, and he's got already everybody's team colors.
Yeah, pretty
So-
much.
You don't even have to have much investment in him.
I don't know. I'd rather have Kyler than Carson Wentz, I think. But the former Kyler Murray's coach at Arizona, Cliff Kingsbury, he is on the staff of USC with Lincoln Riley. He's an offensive assistant at USC. So he goes from head coach of the Arizona Cardinals to offensive analyst at USC. Kind of an interesting.
not a bad place to live though. I lived out there, and not a bad part of the country to be living.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
They love Southern Cal. SoCal,
Yeah,
I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
People love SoCal.
And I'm sure the job pays.
he
pretty
wants
good.
to be out there with Lincoln Riley. That's what it is.
Okay.
If Lincoln Riley wasn't in SoCal, he wouldn't be in SoCal. But
No, I mean, I will tell you, maybe a potential team for Kyler Murray might be Tennessee.
yeah, Tennessee is hurt.
If you remember, I mean, Tannehill will be gone at the end of the year. He's 35, 36 years old.
And that would reunite him with
reunite him
Nuke
with
Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep.
And as we all know, I think Will Levis is absolutely trash, as I've stated for months and months. And
There's a team we haven't talked about yet that I am really intrigued with. Greg, you ready?
I'm ready.
The Detroit Lions.
Oh, absolutely.
Lions.
Up and comer.
Up and comer. Yeah.
They can certainly win the division. Had a great draft. Their coach is he's outstanding. He's got those guys, running on all cylinders.
Yeah.
I mean, the players love him. And it seems like their players they have just keep getting better and better every year. I'm in agreement with you. I think that's definitely an up and coming team.
That's my. I've adopted the Detroit Lions for the year as my team to root for.
Oh, they're fun to watch.
Well, I'm not a Jared Goff fan. I just wish that I could pick many quarterbacks I'd rather have than him, but he seems to fit. He seems to fit there with what they're doing. So
again, Carson Wentz is available. So
I don't know. I might rather have Goff than Wentz.
Jared Goff is
definitely rather have Goff or Kyler Murray.
Jared Goff is incredibly good in domes. If you look up his career stats, at home he is his teams score a ton of points when he's at home in a dome.
Could you
Former
imagine that?
Cal Bear, I believe.
Could you imagine that offense with him without Goff and switch them out? I bet that would be even more fun to watch.
Well, I mean, they said they drafted Hendon Hooker in the third round, I believe. He's going to be. They're just going to basically redshirt him this year as he's coming off a torn ACL. They don't really have much behind Goff. Goff is a very, very safe quarterback. Doesn't get hurt. I mean,
Well, hey fellas, I got to run.
Okay, Greg.
Yeah. Great talking to you guys.
All right, thanks,
thank you.
Greg Damon from KMOX. See you later, Greg.
See you.
Bye. That was fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Take a break.
Greg's at we're gonna take a break here, but Greg is at he's coaching his kids' football game.
Oh,
All right,
nice.
Yeah, practice.
Nice.
The practice right now.
Yeah.
So he had to get back to that. All right, let's take a couple minute break.
Yeah, looks like it's 3-0 at the end of the first quarter in the preseason game. CJ Stroud, they've only thrown 4 passes with CJ. He's out of the game. So Davis Mills is in now. So let's take a quick 2-minute break, guys, and we'll be back in 2 minutes.
All right.
I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
And we are back here at DraftKings at Casino Queen on this Thursday, August the 10th. Getting a little closer for sure. 3-0 in the NFL game, David. The undergods are looking good.
So John put this 3-teamer together for me, and it's a little early, but I like it. He moved the line to under 8 in the St. Louis Tampa Bay Rays game. Plus 150 on under 8. It's 2-0 Cardinals in the 5th. So that's looking really good. The Texans Patriots game is what?
3-0, second quarter.
And we got under 37.5. We're in the same spot we were kind of last week at this time, and let's hope that we don't have 16 penalties to move the ball down the
CJ
field.
Stroud with an early interception, the rookie throwing a pick.
That's going to happen.
Yep.
But I do like the alternate line, KC Royals, Boston Red Sox, John, to finish off this 3-teamer. Under 12, and end of second, 0-0. So looking good, firing all cylinders early.
Yep.
This is $20 to win 143.
Yeah,
I like it. So let's that's what we need to work on, John. Collecting.
Yes.
Collecting.
Absolutely.
We've put a lot of these tickets in the trash. A lot of wasted paper over the years.
Yeah.
We will not be joined by Micah Mills on 590 The Fan tomorrow. John and I will be just John and I tomorrow.
Yep.
So that'll be fun. We're not gonna be able to a little family emergency for Micah Mills. Everybody's all right, but
Good.
pretty crazy story. So he'll be back with us next week.
Good. Yeah. Hopefully it's as exciting as last Friday. The college football world started to fall apart on us last Friday.
We got any news to cover that?
Nothing really. You know, the
No?
Pac-12. It's the same as it was last Friday. You know,
Okay.
ACC is everybody's pissed off at the ACC basically because of the TV money. So the SEC and Big Ten are getting 2.5 to 3 times the annual money that the ACC is getting. So if the ACC is getting each team in the ACC from the television rights are getting $30 million a year, then the Big Ten, SEC, those two conferences with their TV deals are getting 60 to 75 to 80 million a year. So if you're Florida State and Clemson, and you're getting 30 million a year from the ACC, and you're looking at Vanderbilt in the SEC, or even Missouri in the SEC, and they're getting 75 million a year, you're like, something's wrong with this picture.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and they're locked into it till 2036.
Oof.
Not too happy about this.
Well, don't sign those long
So-
contracts, right?
Yep. Those were the grant of rights, which ESPN controls their TV and their TV rights. They have ACC has the ACC network, which is tied into to ESPN. So yeah, it's kind of a mess with the grant of rights deal in the ACC right now. So that remains to be seen. They've talked to adding these. They've talked about kind of ludicrous, in my opinion, stories about talking to Stanford and Cal and trying to add them to the ACC. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's never going to happen.
John, we talked about this a couple of times. When they just gonna get rid of the conferences? Too much.
Yeah, I mean, anything seems possible at this point. I mean, I never would have thought I'd seen a thing where the USC and UCLA and Washington, Oregon are in the Big Ten. Never thought we would see that. But yeah, these conferences are trying to expand their footprint, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of like with Mizzou.
No more Pac-10.
They're gone.
No.
Yeah, so
the
my
Pac-10 is
my Sun
gone.
Devils
Adios.
ended up in the Big 12.
In the Big
Yes.
12,
Right.
Arizona State, Utah.
Yeah.
So there's 4 schools sitting there on an island: Washington State, Oregon State, and then Stanford and Cal are sitting there on a 4-team island right now with no conference. So if the Pac-12 is going to save themselves, if that commissioner is going to do that, then he's going to have to go get San Diego State, Hawaii, Idaho, Nevada, New Mexico, all these teams, Fresno State, UNLV. It's going to become a second-tier conference.
I fully believe that it's much, much more likely that those 4 schools end up in the Mountain West
Yeah.
Conference.
Much more likely, I would
Mhm.
imagine. They don't fit anywhere else except maybe the Big 12.
Well, Pittsburgh beats Atlanta at home tonight.
They take 2 out of 3 if that's
Yeah.
the case.
That one,
Yeah.
it was a 4-game series.
Oh,
They
2.
Yeah,
They split
so-
it then. Okay.
52-63. You're on pace to hit that over at 66.5, right, Damian?
Yeah, the Pirates, even when they traded away the guys that they
Yeah,
traded
Damian
away,
had over 66.5.
Yeah, even when the Pirates
Wins
traded
on the
away
Pirates.
even when the Pirates traded away guys at the deadline, the guys they brought up from the minors are just as good and younger, and they didn't lose any. Honestly, it was kind of like the Cardinals didn't lose anything with the guys they traded, other than maybe Flaherty.
Well, you got 115 games in the season. So what does that leave us?
47.
47. You need 15 wins.
Yeah,
You got to hit 33% winners to
yeah, they're,
I like your bet.
Yeah, I like it.
Even terrible teams. Even the Athletics got a shot to win 15 games the rest
Yeah,
of the season.
I have a
Yeah.
sneaky
And they're
sus-
better than the Athletics.
Yeah.
You may want to take a flyer on the Pirates to win the division next year when they come out, when those things
All right,
come
I
out.
have to ask you, and I'm going to ask you again. Can you take your fandom out of it?
I do take my fandom out.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
I take my fandom out of it.
No,
No.
you don't.
No shot.
I take my fandom out of it.
We are the top of the 6,
I-
2-0 Cardinals. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I told you all before the year. I said I'm a Pirates fan. I said, but they're good enough. They're going to win 70 games. I'm just saying next year, all these guys at the Pirates, they're all rookies, and a lot of them are talented rookies, and probably their best player has been out for the last 3.5 months. He's supposed to come back in a couple of weeks. O'Neal Cruz at shortstop. He's got power. He's got power, speed. He can hit the ball a ton. I said the Pirates could be a good long shot team as soon as the stuff comes out to bet on next year to win the division. They're in considerably better shape than the Cardinals are right now. The only difference is the Cardinals will be much more willing to spend money.
Yeah, I usually go to the Cardinals Mets games every season, but they come next weekend, David.
Okay.
And I ain't even gonna go.
Really? Why not? I mean, it's something that you do.
The Mets suck too.
They both suck.
Yeah, so what? See, 'cause tickets will be cheap.
Shoot, they'll probably pay me to come.
Well, there we go. See if you can hook that up.
They'll probably pay me to come.
Well, he lost Verlander and Scherzer, so now he doesn't even have I guess
Yeah.
Senga's pretty good.
You go see Big Pete. You go see Pete, polar bear.
But it does free up, which the owner of the Mets doesn't care, but it does free up a crap load of money.
Yeah, he don't care about the money.
But
it's
he's
about
gonna
getting
go
the farm system.
But I was going to
They
say
got Ronald Acuna's brother, one of the best players, prospects in the country in the Texas trade.
But he's going to spend a crap load on in the off season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious who he's going to get.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they retooled the farm system.
I don't think he's going to spend all that much money in this
Maybe he's
offseason.
learned that spending money doesn't get you a championship.
Well, they talked about
right.
There's not very much out there as far as really good players going into free.
Yeah, they talked about 25 and 26 is when they're eyeing to make a strong run.
To who?
I mean, unless he goes out and
2025.
I know. For who?
To build a contending, legitimate team that's expected to contend for the World Series.
Okay. Well, I think they've been expecting it anyway with everybody's paid.
Well, they did this year.
Right.
But it didn't work out, so now you got to jump ship. So now that they've jumped ship into rebuilding or retooling.
I'm not big on paying older guys a crap load of money.
Yeah, it was. But he doesn't care about the money.
That's why, unless he goes out and gets Ohtani.
Yeah, unless he goes out.
He should go out and get Ohtani.
The Angels are going to have mud on their face at the end of this year for getting nothing for Ohtani unless they think they can sign him again.
Well, that's what, like I said, that's what their agent said. If you trade him, you're not signing him. We're not signing here. So, Artie Moreno's been known to pony up some money. He ponied up a ton for Pujols.
Yep.
And
how'd that work out?
Well,
ponied up a lot for Anthony Rendon, didn't he?
Yeah. Gave Rendon a fat contract.
Trout.
Mike Trout's got a fat contract. So, Moreno's he doesn't have a problem ponying up money, and the Angels do have a pretty nice TV deal.
Yeah.
So it's not anything that they can't afford. I have a feeling that the bidding war will start, and it's going to be. I personally think it'll just be between the Angels and the Mets.
So what are the Cardinals going to do? That's what I want to know.
Like I said, there's just not much. They're not going to. Ohtani's not coming to the St. Louis.
No, but I'm just saying.
So
there's nobody out there to get,
that's
right?
what I mean. The Cardinals are going to have to hope they hit a home run, maybe with a oft injured pitcher like maybe Tyler Glasnow. I believe he's a free agent at the end of the year. But they're going to have to hit a home run with a pitcher who's had some injury concerns, who can stay healthy. That's their hope. But the Cardinals farm system's not good. It's
probably the worst it's been in a long time, right?
Yeah, they don't have too terribly much coming up. Most of the younger players are already up there. Donovan and Gorman and Burleson and Jordan Walker, and they're already there. There's not there's really not much down in the minor leagues for them. The Cardinals have drafted pretty well over the years, but right now they're not in good shape. It's just the Reds have a pretty decent farm system. The Cubs kind of have rebuilt their farm system a little bit. Cubs actually had a really bad one coming into the year, but they've managed to get a couple of prospects coming up. The Pirates have pretty much emptied most of their Pirates prospects are now up. I'm hoping the Pirates don't do what the Pirates do, and they just let Paul Skeens will be their number one starter the moment he steps onto the major league field.
Yeah. Yep. The old
And
LSU Tiger.
yeah, and
Tiger.
I'm hoping that he just starts the season in Pittsburgh next year. Or at absolute worst, the Pirates pull what the Cubs did with Chris Bryant. He stays down for 9 days, and the Pirates hold on to him, then have him for another season to put off his free agency. That's what I'm hoping they're going to do. But the Pirates are notoriously cheap, and like I said, they waited until the end of June. I told when they were in first place, beginning of May, and I said they have all these guys in the minors that they could bring up, and they didn't. And then they tanked, and they still tanked and tanked and tanked and tanked. And then they brought all these kids up as soon as their 2+ arbitration was over. So, the Pirates bring up Henry Davis. Then they brought up Rodriguez, and they brought up Gonzalez. They brought up Peguero. They brought up all these guys now who are pretty good, but they brought them all up after after the arbitration eligibility in 2 years will be done. So, and they basically tanked the season to make sure that they could keep the cost certainty on the Pirates for 2025.
D. Mills fumbles at the 50-yard line.
Fumble.
Fumbles.
At the 50, though?
At the 49.
Well, the undergods are looking good. We need to hold here.
The undergods are looking good in this game so far.
Need to hold.
We said that last week, but yes.
What do you think the live line is? 27.5?
Hold on, let me think.
29.5?
8 minutes to go.
3-0 with 8 minutes in the second quarter.
I'm going to say
26 and a half.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. 26 and a half.
27.5.
What is it?
I don't know.
Oh, let's find out.
I can look it up.
I guess we go. I guess I could go.
We happen to be at
the
this
sports
premier sports book here.
We're at the best
St. Louis
sports
area.
book in the area. None of our lazy asses will take time to stand up and go find out. So
when we have technological ways of doing things with our ass sitting in the same seat. We got computers, we got cell phones. Why would we move?
And that's why we're all fat, not ashamed.
I disagree with you. I am not
Hey,
fat.
David's on the diet train.
Yeah,
He's on the weight
the
loss
funny
train.
thing is
He gained
I'm gaining weight
Oh, you
as
did?
I'm working out.
Well, yeah, you gain muscle, they say.
Well, I'm not gaining that much
He's not
muscle.
doing that. He's just eating more.
I am eating more, but I'm eating pretty healthy for the most part, unless I hang out with John.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
John's a bad influence.
Well,
but I like it. Yeah.
Well, Houston went 3 and out after the turnover at midfield, so that should help
Wow.
you guys.
So I'll give you our
under.
conversations every day. I call John, or John will call me about 10, 11 in the morning.
26.5, guys.
Look at us.
Right
Look at
on
us.
the nose.
So this is a conversation how it goes every day of the week for the most part. John, I'm trying to eat a little healthier. He says, all right. Hey, meet me at this great sandwich shop that I found. And he sends me a picture of like a 4,000 calorie sandwich. So this is our conversation. I'm trying not to eat any. Oh, yeah. So let's meet here. And can I have extra Texas toast, please?
Put extra butter on it too.
Yeah. Because I don't just want one kind of cheese. I want 3 kinds of cheese. Add that, melt that real good. And instead of a 1/4 pound burger, why don't you just make it a 3/4 pound burger? 3 patties on it. And you know what? Let's go with some tater tots and cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
and then let's get some bread pudding.
I love a good bread pudding.
I
It's
know
hard
you
to
do.
find. A good bread pudding's hard to find.
Yeah.
Cardinals scored in the 6th to go up 3-0.
I don't want it. I don't want any more
3-0.
scoring.
They just need to get through 8. We're in decent shape here.
Yeah.
Hold. What else we got on that ticket? Cardinals,
All right,
the
so
under,
John,
and what?
But he moved the line to
It's
under
only 3
8.
picks. We got the Cardinals under 8.
And we got under 37.5 in the
under 37 in the NFL.
and then under 12 in the Kansas City Royals.
Under
Boston Red
12 in the
It's
Red
0-0
Sox.
in the
It's
third.
0-0 in the third.
We got to get the Cardinals game. They screwed me out of a 5-teamer last night.
Come on, Cardinals.
I needed the Rays to win last night, and the Cardinals held on 6-4 for a 5-teamer last night. Whew. These Cardinals, you can't. I just need to leave them off the ticket.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Any which way possible, I need to leave them off the ticket.
Damian, you can hedge right now, my man. Or you can middle.
I can't hedge.
Yeah, not hedge. I'm sorry. Damian's got over 37.5,
I can't
right?
middle this either.
Sure you can.
I'm just toast.
You can middle it.
I'm not
No, he
even
can't.
gonna try.
No, he can't. If he had under, he
If
could.
he had under, he
if I
could.
had under,
Yeah.
I could middle
Yeah.
it.
We could middle.
Yeah, you guys could middle. My ass ain't middling shit.
Well, if I had the other 2 in, I would do that. But since I'm all about a good middle.
Yeah.
I'm the middle master.
Oh,
You
I
got to
love
get
hitting those
give me
middles.
a 2 3 point middle. In football. I'm a happy camper.
Basketball too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basketball's tough.
That's really tough. What you about to
Yeah,
get the middles?
Yeah,
It's a little tougher than football, but still, if you got the over and they score like 130 points in the first half, you get like a 10-point middle on the if you got the over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got really unlucky. I cashed out my Sweden winning,
Yeah,
beating the
Damien
U.S. the
said
other
Sweden
day.
was going to beat the women, and they did.
And what did you get? You
I
cashed
cashed out. Yeah, I got my $500. I bet 500.
What'd you have to put up to get 500?
I just had to bet the 500. So
Oh, it was even money on Sweden?
No, well, it was Sweden was plus 130 when I bet them plus a half a goal.
Nice.
But once they beat the
So-
USA, it became even money.
Well, yeah, once the game went to overtime.
Sure.
Once it went to overtime, I won the bet. It didn't matter.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
I-
yeah.
So I bet a $200 5-team parlay the other day.
Wow.
I had
Damien laying
That's
down
gonna
some
pay-
grain.
yeah,
That's going to pay
it-
what, 3,000 to 4,000?
Yeah, would have paid big. I had the
Uh-oh.
Would've.
I had the first 4 legs. I had the first 2 legs in. They were day games. One was the Braves over the one was the Braves over the Cubs and they beat them like 8-0 that day. So anyway, and then I had the other 3 other legs had 4-run leads in the 8th inning. The 5th leg I had was Cincinnati over Washington. Cincinnati led 3-1 in the 8th. They gave up a 2-out, 2-run, 2-strike homer to Washington to tie it at 3. So I call my buddy up, and I'm trying to get a hold of either of my friends on the Illinois side to see if they could hedge it for me so I could make sure I win quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
Could not get a hold of either one of them.
Oh no.
Yeah, as it turns out, one of my friends was in the hospital, and
Call us. I'd have drove to get it.
one of my friends was in the hospital.
That's
Oh,
gross.
I'd have done it for you, Damien.
Gross.
Oh my
And,
God.
Gross.
Yeah, one of my friends was in the hospital, diagnosed with kidney cancer, so he was not able to do it. And then my other friend's wife was around, so he couldn't.
Those wives get in the way.
He couldn't.
They just get in the way.
he
I must
couldn't-
have the best wife ever.
Yeah,
Right?
he-
If I told my wife I was going over to cover a middle bet, she wouldn't know what I'm talking about, but she'd say, have a good time, whatever.
So anyway,
I'm not gonna have the only wife that's okay with that.
Cincinnati loads the bases in the bottom of the 8th with 1 out and grounds into a double play. Then it goes to the 9th. Washington doesn't score. Cincinnati has a runner on second with nobody out in the 9th.
Oh my God.
They don't score. So my buddy, whose wife was whatever,
Whatever.
he calls me as the game's going to the 10th, and I tell him about what's going on. I'm like, can you bet this for me right now? And as he's getting ready to bet it, he says, Washington just scored. It's 4-3 now.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh no.
So you can't hedge
So,
it now because
yeah,
the odds
so
on
I'm like-
Washington are so big.
Yeah, so we were on the phone, we were waiting, I was getting ready to go into work. So I'm on the phone in the car waiting to talk, and we're like, okay, if Washington doesn't score anymore, the line won't be too bad because you started with a runner on second in the bottom of the 10th. I can still hedge. So, with 2 outs, Washington, it's a 2-run homer to make it 6-3. So it was just pointless to hedge. And of course, that's game ended 6-3 Washington. So yeah, that was rather painful.
That's gross.
Yeah, it's tough when the Washington Nationals beat you. There's nothing more demoralizing than that.
Well, give the Cardinals pitcher some credit today. Liberatore, 6 innings, 2 hits, 7 strikeouts, no walks.
Matthew Lee.
So they said they're going to
Bridgeport.
spend the rest of the season giving him some starts. So this
Well,
is
he's
Spend the
been-
rest of the season doing something.
well. What I'm saying is he's got a chance to earn his spot for
He-
next year in the
he-
rotation.
He's been lights out so far today.
Yeah.
His best start of his
down in
young
Tampa,
career.
shutting them down today.
Yeah,
would
got
be
against a
Matthew
good team, right?
Yep.
So that's important who it's against, right?
Yep.
Speaking of good teams, that AL East is still as strong as it has been all year. Baltimore, 71-44, strong. The Yankees are 3 games over 500, David. Last in the division.
They would be half a game behind Minnesota. if they
Cardinals
won
would be
the
happy to be
season.
3 games over 500.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
Wow, how strong is the AL East? The entire division should make the playoffs.
Hey, what time do these late NFL games
Oh,
get?
there's
9
only
o'clock.
one.
There's
9
only
o'clock.
one.
The Minnesota.
Our time,
Minnesota,
9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Minnesota and
So
Seattle.
we need to get this in so I can parlay it in the evening game. That's what I need.
You're going to win.
I'm going to win this,
Yeah.
parlay it into the evening game.
But there's only one bet left.
Oh,
You're
that's
just going to bet a
fine.
single bet?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Turn 20 into 300.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
What do you like
Oh,
tonight?
I'm doing the opposite. I'm turning 250 into 0. So
I
I'm losing,
spent most of
I'm
my
losing
life
all
doing
three
that,
of my,
Damien.
losing all 3 of my plays today.
My number's a little higher than 250. Turn it into 0. Add a couple zeros to that. And how much would that be? Add 2 zeros to 250.
Yeah.
More. Add 3 zeros.
3?
Add 3 zeros, and that's probably where I'm at for
Now
my
you're
life.
starting to get into Phil Mickelson territory.
No. I don't know. I think $250,000 in my life is fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair amount. I mean, I'm 52 years old. Think about that, though. If I've been betting since I've been, in my early 20s, that's, 30 years, right? Figure 5,000. 5,000 a year loser. Yeah, probably.
Not
An
a lot of
average.
action,
I
a
mean,
lot of chances.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I've had winning years and I've lost 10, 12, 15,000 in a year. So, yeah, I would say 150,000 is probably a fair number in my life that I've lost betting sports. Yeah. I don't know. I have had some good winners too, but I'm not ahead doing it. I'm more careful now. Yeah, I'm more careful now. Yeah.
As am I.
Let's see, David Sanders. David Sanders says over that amount, David? Oh, well. I'm not including horses in that.
No.
Yeah.
Not including horses.
So if
well, that's what you bet the most.
Yeah, well, so David, I would probably say 300,000 would be a fair estimate of all my gambling losses. I am a winning poker player in my life, so that'll offset $10. So, I am a winning poker player in my life, so I don't have exact numbers, but I would probably say 300K between win and loss in my life gambling. 300K. David, I know I'll probably ask you later if I invested all that money into a Roth IRA or
we don't even wanna
401K, would it be worth today?
Over the course of how long?
30 years.
30? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. It'd be millions, couple million.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, be that as it may,
What does John say about cash flow?
I hope your wife's not listening.
Wait, no, she knows.
What does it
She
say about
knows.
what?
My wife knows. Good. What do you say about cash flow, John? How's
Cash
your
flow.
money comes?
Oh, money comes and money goes. That's why they call it cash flow. It comes and goes. That's why they call it cash flow.
Oh, David says, I didn't know that you were excluding horses. Millions.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you meant it'd be worth millions. Not that I've lost millions. It's the same thing. I've lost it because I should have had it, right? Yeah, but think of all the stories and good times that I've had. Is it worth millions?
Yeah.
No.
Well, what's the old saying? You never seen a Brinks truck behind a hearse. You know,
Yeah?
you can't take it with you.
Well, I'd like to have a little bit right now, though.
You did have it.
That's like the guy
You
saying.
spent it at the
That's
track.
like the guy saying having money comes with problems. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Life's a little easier for somebody who's experienced this a little bit in his life. Having money or having family money is a lot more fun than not. I'm just saying, money's we don't have. It's not to say like used to. I'm just saying. People say that when they never had it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you've had it and lost it, it's a lot harder to take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true. Well, let's take a quick little break, guys, and we'll finish it up. When we come back, we'll see where the action's at, where our live bets are at, and still 3-0 right now in the football game. So, Under God's looking good.
All right, quick
We'll be
break.
back in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
We got this. Hey, we're back here live at DraftKings at Casino Queen. John and I and Damien were talking a little on break about John and I's road trip coming up in September. John's taking me to my very first Clemson game, Clemson, Florida State, and I'm thinking about the ride down there. It's going to be a bunch of fun. You know what we can do? We can bet the horses on the drive down. It's going to be great. I'm going to bring my laptop, hook it up hotspot to my phone, and we'll be watching and betting horses on the 10-hour drive to Clemson, South Carolina. But what I've been really thinking about is if, God forbid, Clemson loses, how long is that drive home going to be for me, Damien?
I would advise you to get drunk and sleep.
I take a lot of medication. How about take
You don't want us to lose that game. There's going to be there's going to be 80,000 sad people.
Well, there's one I'm worried about that I have to be with for 10 hours on the way home.
Well, let me preface
I would
this,
think
guys.
you'd be a lot quieter if they lost.
I don't know.
Let
I
me
don't
preface by saying this. The loser of that game still will probably play for the ACC championship.
Okay.
And have the shot at that playoff.
All right.
Because they're going to play each other. The loser of the game runs the table. They're going to play each other.
All right.
I think Florida State's got a much better chance if they lose of getting to the playoff than Clemson does, because Clemson doesn't play anybody. I think.
We don't know how everybody's going to look, though.
If you have a USC one-loss team and you have a Clemson one-loss team, USC is getting in before Clemson. You're going to have the Big Ten champ. Michigan plays nobody other than Penn State and Ohio State. They play nobody. They avoid all the best teams in the Big Ten other than Penn State and Ohio State. So if Michigan's a one-loss team, Michigan's going to get in before Clemson or Ohio State. Whichever one of those two teams end up with one loss, they're going to get in over Clemson.
You don't know how everybody's going to look, though. You don't know how good Notre Dame's going to be.
Yeah, the SEC.
How good the Cox are going to be.
It's not going to matter. Clemson doesn't play anybody.
You don't know how good they're going to be.
They don't play anybody.
What if Notre Dame's undefeated? Sam Hartman's got them undefeated in November.
Then they would have lost.
They lose one game, they lose to Clemson.
Then they would have lost twice.
Who else are they going to lose to?
So Clemson is not going to get in if they lose a game. They're not. I'm thinking they won't lose a game.
A lot can happen.
But they play nobody.
We don't know how good Notre Dame, South Carolina, North Carolina.
You can only play who's in front of you, Damien.
That's true, but when you don't play anybody, you're not going to. They can't afford a loss.
Guess what was the top 5 matchup in 2016? Guess what was the top 5 matchup? Clemson-Louisville in 2016, David. Nobody thought Louisville was going to be in the top 5. They were unranked to start the year. Sometimes you don't know how good these teams are going to be or how bad.
There's nobody in the ACC. Yeah, Clemson's not playing anybody in the ACC that anybody has any highly thought of opinion other than Florida State.
I understand, and I mostly agree. But there's that outside 10% shot
I wouldn't even
that
10%.
Lamar Jackson's sitting on the bench somewhere, or sitting somewhere, and he's going to light the league on fire. What, 4-0?
4-0.
It's one run, David.
I understand.
Okay, they're going to score a run. You got 8.
But
yeah, you don't know how good they're going to be. Maybe they're, maybe North Carolina, maybe some.
Well, Florida State will at least be able to hang their hat on a victory over LSU.
At Clemson, that'd be huge.
If
they lose, you mean?
If they lose, Florida State would at least have a victory over LSU in a neutral field to hang their hat on. Yeah. Clemson won't have anything. They do not play a major road game or a neutral site game against anybody. Clemson, if Clemson loses a game, they will be out of any championship potential, barring everybody losing twice. And I don't think there's enough teams that can lose. Like Georgia, if you look at Georgia's schedule, the only team I think that could even give Georgia a run for their money would be their road game at Tennessee until they get to the SEC championship.
Yeah.
The SEC West is going to be murderous. Ole Miss also did get some good transfers. Ole Miss's schedule is brutal. I may go play their under on just because of their schedule. Yeah, they got the kid from Oklahoma State, Spencer, but Jackson Dart, from what I'm reading, is going to be the starter anyway. So,
really,
yes,
they're saying Jackson Dart's still going to win that job.
Jackson Dart now
over Spencer Sanders. Wow.
Over Spencer Sanders.
Wow.
Jackson Dart right now looks to be the starter. Going from what I've been reading, he's going to be the starter. Yeah, I know. I was kind of surprised because Ole Miss to get Sanders was quite a coup because Sanders was probably other than Hartman, was probably the best quarterback in the transfer portal. But Dart knows the system.
Yeah.
He's been in the system. He was fairly decent last year, but like I said, the SEC West is just going to be a murderer's row with Arkansas and LSU and Alabama.
Texans first and goal.
Yeah, well, whoopee.
18 seconds
It
left.
said whoopee.
Well, I would like to hold them to a field goal attempt, personally.
Well, they have 2 timeouts.
We
so-
did get some late scoring in the first half last week that cost us.
Oh, yeah. that
So,
was-
yeah, I would like to
brutal.
see a 3-3 half or 3-0 half. I think they're probably going to go for a touchdown here. I mean, that's
Well, they got 2 timeouts. So
Let's
that's not
pull
even
it
a
up here.
factor.
yeah. Why don't you pull up the game?
But
Let's see.
yeah, like I said, the SEC West isn't. I mean, that's just a murderer's row. If any team out of the SEC West only loses 1 game, they're getting into the Final Four.
What do you think about getting rid of the conferences? Like,
I don't think they'll ever get rid of the conferences. I just think you're just going to have the 4 major conferences left, and with the Houston scores a touchdown.
it's touchdown.
Yeah,
That's
so-
ugly.
you still got
still
plenty
got
of
a-
time there.
Yeah, still got to beat
Punch.
me with 4 touchdowns.
Yep.
And they're going to put the third stringers in, David.
So,
Yeah, well, we saw what that happened. 16 penalties in like 2 drives that cost us last week. That's preseason football. Probably shouldn't be betting it.
No, I
So-
like betting.
So
Yeah,
it's
probably should be
7-3, 10 seconds.
I need
left in
4
the half,
touchdowns going to beat me in the second half.
and 4 extra points.
Yeah.
Remember, those aren't gimmies anymore.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
So yeah, it's I just any SEC West team with 1 loss is going to get in. If the Big 12 is not as good as it was last year. Yeah, Texas is probably the cream of that. They're the huge favorite. Oklahoma went 6-7 last year, and I really don't know that Oklahoma upgraded that much. Now they were unfortunate, lost a lot of close games, so those tend to even out. The following season, I would think Oklahoma might be much better, but Kansas State, Texas returns virtually their whole roster other than Bijan Robinson. They return a ton of talent. Kansas State returns their whole offense except for Deuce Vaughn, who's in Dallas.
Yeah, he's in Dallas with his dad. His dad works for the Cowboys.
Oklahoma State lost a lot of their best players. TCU, Baylor's probably the only other team that could potentially be any threat in the Big 12. But I mean, they did get UCF, and I know they got a couple of the other smaller schools, but I don't see any. I honestly don't see much hope for.
Oh, we're
anybody
going to
else
bring
in the
this touchdown
division.
back, David.
What?
We're going to bring it back
What
on a
happened?
review.
Was he short?
They already kicked the extra point, so it's not coming
Oh,
back.
darn it. Really?
Yeah,
Was it not?
Come on.
Was it not a touchdown?
yeah, it's a touchdown. They already kicked the extra
Well, I
point.
know, but was it not a touchdown?
It didn't look like it. Looked like he was out of
Nah.
bounds.
See, like I said, Homer.
He was out
Homer?
of bounds.
Homer.
Oh,
No, it looked like he was out of
well, I am too when I have the under.
No,
I just want it easy.
I
I don't want any sweats.
bounds. Sound like me.
I can
Yeah.
still look at it. And I can still look at something like whether I bet on it or not, and think whatever of it.
Well, did you think it was a touchdown?
From what I saw, yes.
Okay.
But I don't. Like I said, I'm not going to say I looked at it too terribly closely. He did bobble it in the end zone. Looked like he caught it as it was coming back down. He landed in the end zone. The ball popped straight up in the air, and then it looked like he pinned it against his leg, and then brought it in. So
So what do we got? We got 2 weeks left to week 0, right?
2 weeks left to week
What
0.
night of the
So
week?
we got 2
What
weeks
night of
left
the
to
week?
bet these futures, and that's it.
What night of the week?
It's a Saturday. It should be.
yeah,
2 weeks from Saturday.
the 26th.
Or it can't be the. Yeah.
When does Hard?
26th.
Do you know when Hard Knocks first episode is?
Should be soon.
Yeah, if it isn't already.
So we got 2 weeks left to bet the futures.
I'm gonna look at David. Do you
Oh,
know when
well,
Hard Knocks
Oh,
starts this year?
You'd still be able to bet the futures until You just
Oh yeah,
won't be
you
able
do it
to.
live. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you'd still be able to bet the futures.
I don't
until
like
they
I don't
start
like
the first game.
betting Caleb Williams. So I don't think Caleb Williams. I think he's going to take it easy. He's got the NFL in the bag. He's got that. Yeah, I just don't like it. I don't like it. It's hard to win back-to-back Heisman's, Damian. Hard to win back. It's only been done once. Archie Griffith of the Buckeyes in the 70s. Only
Yeah.
person to ever win back-to-back Heisman's. They got Jaden Daniels at second.
The first episode of Hard Knocks was Tuesday evening.
Oh, it was. Yeah.
So
I knew it was
I'm gonna have to subscribe for the month
There you go.
to Max so I
Yeah.
can watch it. Go and watch it tonight.
Yep. And then Quinn Ewers sitting third. I don't know. Not too sold on him. Jordan Travis at fourth. You can go ahead and burn your money if you take that. Go ahead and light it on fire, you know.
David, how was it? I don't want any details, but how was that first episode? Just curious.
But my man Cade Klubnik sitting at fifth.
Well, like I said,
Everybody's excited to see Cade. That's all we can
he-
say,
he-
man.
He's got a joke of a schedule.
Garrett Riley and Cade Klubnik together. Garrett Riley already says he wants to run a play every 8 seconds. Wants to run a play every 8
That's
seconds.
fast.
Let's go. Let's go. Every 8 seconds. And Chad Morris is back on the staff too as an offensive
I
analyst.
can't read your shirt.
Huh?
I can't read your shirt.
My shirt.
Did you
It's
get your?
Clemson
Did
shirt.
you?
I know, but what does it say? Tiger what?
BYOG.
Has he brought
Bring
you
your own guts, David.
Has he brought you your shirt yet? I mean, now that you
We're-
work
hey,
together,
I
we're-
stopped
shirt now.
asking.
We're leaving in a month. We're leaving in a month.
he needs the shirt before
It no-
he
it
goes.
never-
Nah, you don't know. You get down there, you get your shirt.
Never existed.
I'm gonna get me about, whatever. I'm gonna get whatever I need to get. 10, 15, 20 shirts, whatever it is.
Hope one of them's for me. And he'll say you'll get it when we get home.
I'm
And I'll
thinking
never
about,
see
hey,
it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about. I hadn't pulled the trigger yet, but I'm thinking about for the first time in my life getting an NFL jersey.
What?
Yeah.
Of who?
Trevor.
Oh,
Think
yeah,
about
that was
getting me a Trevor
stupid.
jersey.
Stupid question.
Thinking about getting me a Trevor jersey or
I-
maybe an ETN jersey.
I
might
think
go-
you'd like ET. You like saying ETN
Nah,
better.
I don't know. I like them both.
Yeah, but
you're
you
not
like
gonna get me
saying
to choose one
you
over
like
the other.
saying ETN better.
I might go buy a Florida State shirt just for that week,
Wow.
God,
Really?
just because.
Just to stick it in?
Just to stick it in.
Yeah. Are you gonna bet Florida State that weekend?
Probably not. There'll be a limit to my stupidity.
John, we're at the kiosk the other day, and we're looking at Clemson's over for the. Was it 10.5, John?
Shoot.
Oh, 9.5. It's 9.5, and John's like, "This machine's giving away money."
I think the over would be a good bet on that.
9.5.
Remember, I already bet them to win.
But
the
the minus
conference.
juices went way.
Oh, okay.
Like it's big minus
Oh
juice.
yeah.
It was minus 188.
Over 9.5 is
Minus 188.
Minus 180.
Yeah,
Remember, I already,
Yeah.
It was
I already bet
140.
them to win the
was
conference.
140, right?
When I saw Clemson's schedule, I bet them to win the conference.
What'd you get for that?
It was plus 170 at the time. Now it's down to plus 130.
It's
Yeah.
a good bet.
Yeah, all the money's coming in on Clemson. It's not a surprise.
Well, coming on Clemson and Florida State. But it's not
Drake
going
May
anywhere else.
is below Cade Klubnik to win the Heisman.
Well, it's because North Carolina's not going to be very good.
That's true. That's true. I'm telling you, Cade made some throws last year. It was like, wow, why is this guy sitting the bench? Why is he sitting
My
the bench?
favorite thing, though, as I was sitting there reading, is that Oregon State's so happy they got your former quarterback.
I'm so happy
And
he's gone.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh, Oregon State's potentially a sleeper. I'm like, if DJ Uyunglele is your starting quarterback, your team is sleeping.
Yeah,
They'll be sleeping.
The team's
They'll
gonna
be
take a nap.
sleeping with the fishes because they're not going to be good.
No.
So if you, I saw somebody ask a question of potential sleepers in the NFL and maybe college. I'll give you Kansas State. It's potentially a college football sleeper. I said I like LSU a lot.
The Wildcats.
I like LSU a lot coming out of the SEC.
Yeah.
I personally think they win the SEC West. I believe
I
they're the
hate
most
them as much
talented.
as you like them.
And well, I'm not a personal fan of theirs. I just think I think they're the most talented team in the SEC West. I think they're even more talented than Alabama when you consider the fact that LSU actually has a quarterback. NFL wise, I was talking Denver sleeper, and Pittsburgh could be a real sleeper. I try not to bet the Steelers. I'm going to bet they're over. It's 8.5. They're plus actually 145 to make the playoffs. I'm going to bet that. I think the Steelers are a playoff team.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be stunned if they won the division, especially with Joe Burrow. I don't know how serious the injury to Joe Burrow is.
Yeah,
I
he hurt
believe
his knee, his leg, something like
Yeah,
that.
he's got a calf injury.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe the Bengals are the best team. I believe the Bengals are the best team in the NFL if Burrow's healthy.
I agree.
But if he's not, I believe the Steelers are the second best team in that division. And and the Steelers actually have the lowest total of any of the four teams in the division, and the lowest odds of any of the four teams in that division. And I believe Pittsburgh's better than Baltimore, and I believe they're better than Cleveland. So, I'm just, I think those two teams, Seattle could potentially be a long shot team in the NFC. I still think Seattle should have done more on defense, but the weapons they have on offense are tremendous. And like I said all along, one of those teams in between the NFC West and the NFC South, NFC North is going to blow up and be 12-5. I don't know which one. Could be Detroit. Could be Chicago. Could be Atlanta. I don't think it can be New Orleans because I don't think New Orleans is deep.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Carolina's got the best defense in their division.
Michael Thomas still down in New Orleans?
Yeah, but he's useless.
Yeah, he's useless.
Like I said, New Orleans is really hamstrung with the salary cap, but their frontline talent's good. But if they have any injuries, they're in trouble. Carolina's defense is the best in their division, but I just don't trust a team that has no quarterback. A rookie quarterback making his first start. I don't trust the running back, and they have nothing at wide receiver. So it's just hard for me to see Carolina really going on a tear. And then you're looking at the NFC North. Like I said, I told last week, the Bears could blow up and be something good. If Justin Fields is a little bit better at quarterback throwing the football than I think he is. I don't think Green Bay's got a very good offensive line. I don't trust Jordan Love. I don't really like their receivers. I just, another team I think it could be surprisingly good if they get good quarterback play. Washington. I don't know how good Sam Howell is.
Yeah,
Washington's defensive line's very, very good.
Yep.
Their
Still
defense
got the,
in general is
Ohio
very
State
good.
first round pick. What's his name? Chase Young.
Yep. Their defense in general is just very good. Their defensive line is other than San Francisco's probably got the best defensive line in the NFL. Philly's fairly close. Washington's way up there.
Who's Washington's quarterback?
Sam Howell.
Sam
The
Howell.
old
That's right.
North
That's right.
Carolina Tar Heel.
They also got Jacoby Brissett, who they said he's just a placeholder.
Oh, shoot.
But he's
Better
not-
hope
but-
he don't
if-
play.
No. I disagree with that.
Jacoby Brissett's
I disagree
terrible.
with that. He's
Here he comes,
competent.
Jacoby Brissett.
But if
No.
Jacoby Brissett's
No.
starting for you, you're not a Super Bowl contender.
No,
You're
but
not even a.
you're competitive.
playoff.
You're competitive,
uh,
but you're not a contender.
He's not terrible. There's much worse backup
There-
quarterbacks in the
there's
NFL.
much worse, but he's
NFL.
not.
yeah, but he's
but
the backup.
you're
That's
I
my-
understand,
I'm
but
just-
there's
I'm
much
If he's
more.
talking-
playing, you're in
My-
trouble.
I'm
my
talking
point
about
is-
a team that
yeah.
could be a surprise.
Yeah. Not with-
Washington's got two very good wide receivers in Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin. Gibson out of the backfield, tremendous
Yeah.
out of the
Yeah.
backfield.
Always
as
getting
far
his
as-
Where's
fantasy
my
points.
man
catching-
Tyler Henneke
He's in Atlanta right now.
Yeah, he's,
Yeah.
backing up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe.
Brian
knows?
Robinson Jr. He hasn't been shot yet this offseason.
Who?
Brian Robinson for Washington. So Washington, I
Hasn't been
would
shot
not be stunned if Washington finished second behind Philly in that division. I wouldn't be stunned. Washington could be a surprise team potentially in the NFL.
Dallas nowhere to be found
I don't. Well, I mean, everybody has expectations for Dallas.
every year though.
Yeah, Dallas has some tremendous frontline talent. But I'm not. But like I said, I'm not trying to say, oh, this could be Miami. By your logic, could be a surprise. But Miami's only going to be a surprise. Miami's only going to be good if Tua doesn't have any concussion issues.
Yeah.
And Miami's offensive line's not.
Can't
very
believe he's
good.
still playing.
So
The
He's-
Commanders play tomorrow.
yeah.
You looked at anything for tomorrow, Damian?
Yeah,
No,
let's wrap this up. So, what do you got? Anything for tomorrow?
They're all these preseason lines are so
So, what's later
one-
tonight?
one
what do we got?
strange
Wait,
looking
go ahead.
because it's all -3.
Minnesota, Seattle's tonight. I'd probably look at playing the under in that game. I don't think anybody's going to play much
What
in
is
that
it?
game. 37.
Yeah.
Uh,
They're all going to be 35 to 37.
One
38.
thing
Every
potentially.
line's the same in the
Yeah.
preseason. I mean, all these games.
I just
tomorrow,
like having it on TV.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But every game tomorrow, every line is -3 to -4.5.
Yeah.
Every single game.
But I mean, it's so great to see
I love
football
it.
on
Yeah.
TV.
Cardinals
Yeah.
scored in the top of the ninth.
No,
It's
they
now
got to
5-0.
stop.
That's all right.
Scoring.
5-0 going to the bottom of the ninth.
It's
No,
not going to
we're
the
not.
bottom of the
It's still
ninth
on
yet.
top of the eighth, top of the ninth.
Top of the ninth. How many? What's going? We got no
Two
bases
outs.
loaded. Nobody outs, are there? No. Yeah, we're in unbelievable shape. The live line's 5.5.
So
It's 5.5 right now with that home run.
So it's. Do you think the Tampa Bay Rays are going to score one in the bottom of the ninth?
Well, let's hope they don't. Just 1,
As
2,
long as they
3.
score 4, we're fine.
It's the Cardinals bullpen I worry about.
Okay.
Well,
We're in
there's
unbelievable
a
shape.
two out double for Lars Newbar.
get this game home. I like it.
Oh.
I like the rest of it. They beat me with 16 penalties in the NFL game in the second half. I'm going to be pretty hot again. No more preseason NFL games for David.
So it's
One-
10.
one-
You got 37 or 37.5. What's the number?
37.5, I believe.
37.5. So
4
we could have
touchdowns.
24 points in the second half.
30.
Just-
What?
You got 37.5.
You got
28. I
27.
can have 27 points.
10 and 27,
27.
37. One thing
4 touchdowns beats me.
Yeah.
thing to remind you all for
3 touchdowns
preseason-
and a field goal is okay.
for preseason betting purposes, the Baltimore Ravens have won 24 consecutive preseason games.
Wow.
Oh, wow, really?
My Ravens. Woo.
24
That mean absolutely
consecutive
zero.
preseason games.
24 in a row?
24 in a row.
When do
So,
they play? Not tomorrow.
I believe they play Saturday, maybe.
Let's look.
But yeah, they're actually
They do. They play Philly.
Philly on Saturday. Yeah. So I said
Saturday at 6 o'clock.
keep that in mind. Harbaugh wants to win in the preseason. He wants to set the tone for the season. So he actively tries to win preseason games,
Which
So-
mean absolutely nothing.
which mean absolutely nothing. But Baltimore's been very successful over the last few years. He wants to put them in that mindset of you play to win. You play to, as Herm Edwards says, you play to win the game.
Hello?
He tries to win the game.
Right. Hello.
You play to win
No
the game.
shit.
He's not the Allen Iverson. Practice?
Talking about practice?
Talking about practice? No,
Practice.
All, hey,
not
all,
Allen Iverson.
all 3, 5, 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock starts on the baseball. 3 games. All 3 of them, no runs in the first, David. I didn't take one of them. though.
Wow. And that's your favorite bet.
That
one
is
of my
his
favorite bets.
bet.
Yeah.
I actually had the one winning
Alright.
bet I had earlier was I had Atlanta to score the Atlanta Pittsburgh game. I played over half in the first inning and they scored, so that made me happy.
Yeah, that Braves Pirates, they've been scoring like crazy.
That's why I said the Pirates' offense is that team's going to be dangerous next year.
Yeah.
They're
4-0 hole the Pirates were in. Came back and won today, losing 4-0.
well, they blew a couple of games the last 2 days and they had a 3-run lead.
We go to the bottom of the ninth. Cardinals leading
Yeah.
5-0. We need to hold on under 8. And it's what's this Royals game at before we get out of here?
0-0
No,
or 1-0.
1-0 in the
Sixth.
inning.
We
I
have
got
under 11.
under 12.
12.
So now let's get the Cardinals home,
Yeah.
and then we sweat the football game. Gonna have to 4 touchdowns have to
I
be
don't think you have
For
to
John,
unbelievable.
20 into
I don't think
143.
you have to sweat that.
Yeah,
too
you
hard.
ain't got.
Yeah, well, 20 into
See if
143.
they'll offer us a cash out.
I don't want to cash out.
Well, if you're nervous about it,
I'll wait to see if the Cardinals dust it off. If they offered me $25 for a $20 ticket, I might take it right
you're not gonna take that.
You ain't taking that.
now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Good show, guys, and
Yeah.
join us tomorrow on 590 The Fan
6 o'clock.
at 6 o'clock on 590 The Fan. We'll be back August 17th on Thursday again. So I say August 17th because we're getting closer and closer.
I know it's getting exciting.
Yep.
All right, take care,
Thanks for
everyone.
joining us. We'll see you guys
Have a
next
good
week.
night.